My name is Luciana Scrutchen. I'm a faculty in the AES Fashion Design Program. My background is in textile design, hands-on textile design, digital textile design, fashion technology, and I've been at Parsons for about 16 years.
Good morning. My name is Julia Poteat. I am in the fashion design area also. I'm the coordinator for Fashion Methods. My background is in industry, in lingerie, and accessories, women's wear. I teach. I've taught most of the construction classes, but at this moment I am teaching an accessories class, a leather class, and I've taught textiles with Luciana. My background, that's my background, and I've been at Parsons for, this is going to be my 18th year.
Hello, I'm Michelle Alleyne. I'm actually in the fashion marketing department. My background is long in fashion. I've probably worked in every area of fashion at this point, in industry. I own my own company and do consulting, and I've been teaching here at Parsons for 10 years. I usually love specializing in the manufacturing side of things, so if anybody's interested in that, look me up. And I usually teach trend forecasting or trend spotting. So.
Maybe Monica, if you want to just reintroduce yourself, just in case someone has come in sort of a bit late. I know you spoke first.
Hi, I'm Monica Singh. I'm a student of these professors. I recently graduated. And I'm fashion marketing graduate from AES course. And one of my favorite subjects, what Michelle taught me was fashion forecasting. I really love that subject. I really love to predict things. And this course gave me one of few subjects which I really love. So this curriculum is always not about just learning just a fashion marketing. It's all about just help yourself to build as an entrepreneur, help yourself how to present yourself in the future profession which you're going to choose. So this course, I always say that one of the best courses Parsons has, and I picked that, and I graduated that.
So I think one opportunity is just let's open it up and have a conversation. I'm curious, you guys came to Parsons today to find out what these programs are all about. If you have questions, this is a great time to ask them. And a little bit of what we're going to explore the buildings and talk a little bit about the facilities that are available to you. But I'm curious, when I started in school, I had a million questions. Oh, super. Oh, thanks. That's great.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name's Taylor Baskin, and I'm coming from an architectural design background. I'm really excited to be here. Sorry.
Okay. We're going to make you very uncomfortable.
I was just wondering, so how much guidance and flexibility is there in the program to specialize? So I understand, I'm interested in the fashion design program, and if you have a specific interest in accessories or bags or shoes or something like that, I know that's not necessarily what this is about explicitly, but how much exposure is there to that, and how do they sort of help you figure out exactly what you want to do?
So yes, that's an excellent question. Before I answer that question, hopefully it'll sort of come up today that there are parallels across both the fashion marketing program and a fashion design program that was listed earlier on a curriculum map, but also as far as other engagement as well. What our goal is here, at least in the fashion design side, for the first semester is to get everyone acclimated into that immersion in fashion. Fashion design, understanding the level 1 skills, the construction skills, the communication skills with drawing, how to present one's work, how to start researching and thinking about one's work. Figuring out who you are as a person, your concepts, all of those elements. After that first semester, and alongside those core suite of courses, there are elective courses where one can specialize in a particular field. As you mentioned, you focus on accessories. So if it's not a core course within a curriculum, we do have some core courses that align, but there's additional elective courses in that space. Alongside the core courses and elective courses, there are also specific design competitions, external projects that can also align with a student's interest in those specialization, those courses. And Julia can speak a bit more about that as she's been representing us in that area for quite a while.
Yes, we are partnering with quite a few companies, and there are competitions every year, and more the AES department is being involved in all of these competitions. There is Shoe Poly, which is in Italy. There is another competition that's going on right now is Osatoria, which is also an Italian school that is offering scholarships to students who want to learn more about shoe design. This semester, actually, in our lingerie class, there will be a competition for people who are interested in that area of design. I'm just trying to think of all the others. We have quite a few competitions that are going on and companies who are coming just to speak to us for the students to understand what areas of the industry there are that they could go into.
So my name is Kelly, and I'm interested in fashion marketing. Currently, I'm in a dream job that I really like, but I never finished college. I have credits from the University of Pittsburgh, and then also I went to FITM, the Fashion Institute in Los Angeles. So I have credits, but I'm just wondering more about the online program, and if you think it's beneficial to do an online program and work. Also, if you think that time-wise, like, is there time to work and do the program? Because I know that it is very intense and it is very immersive. So I just want to know, like, would doing the online fashioning marketing be, I don't know, beneficial to me in my particular situation?
Pardon me. So our faculty teach in many cases across both platforms, online and in classroom. So you're going to be exposed to the same kind of faculty, and certainly the same curriculum and course work. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is like in teaching some of the classes that you've taught, Michelle?
Let's see. I mean, I feel like the information that's presented on the online platform does cover the curriculum. It's not that you're losing anything in terms of the personal contact. You still learn. And I feel like you can coordinate it better with your schedule if you're working. I mean, I think that's a great opportunity to be able to, you know, attend the university, because now you can adjust your schedule. You usually have about a week to chime into lectures, you know, depending on the professor. They give you designated times when you can go in and interact with the other students, or, you know, post your assignments. So I think it works really well if you actually are employed and you need to work at like 1 a.m. like I do sometimes. So,
I mean, to give you a little bit of context, there are other programs across the university. One of them is a graduate program that we run, and half of our cohort students actually live all over the world. They come here for a week in January to do an orientation, but the cohort is spread out and dispersed, as are many of our faculty who work in that particular program. So it's built to serve that need. But, you know, I think the other question about, you know, is there going to be a lot of work? Yes, it's going to be a lot of work, yes, but it'll be worth it. Sure. I mean,
Is it more video? Like, am I going to be listening to a lecture, or am I going to be like watching a lecture? I guess I'm just trying to figure out like that interactive experience.
There are variances across, and I was going to ask Monica if you've taken one of the online classes. Okay. So I'll speak from my perspective from teaching online in both populations of the fashion design and the fashion marketing students, because I mentioned there are courses that overlap. So in a course, the course I'm speaking about is a fashion digital course, a fashion technology course, and that course is very heavy media-driven, visually driven, media-driven. So yes, the expectancy is you are taking the time to receive the curriculum via media, videos, and to respond in that sort of interaction and respond that way. There are some that are more lecture-based, more textual, reading-based, and or more text and response-based, dialogue-based via lecture notes in some cases. So there are some that are in more the lecture sort of classroom format, and some are in a studio-based classroom format for the online classes. I did want to touch upon, though, because I'm not sure, I know you mentioned, one is if you're mentioning that you're working, possibly working full-time, or you're heavily engaged in your full-time commitments, just a realization when you're looking at immersing into the an online program here, or the online program in fashion marketing. You know, if you're on campus, you possibly can take 7 or 8 classes and balance that quite well with on campus and online. I don't know that it would be recommended or advisable to take 7 or 8 online classes. Really, from a management perspective, I would say maybe 3 tops. So when you're looking at the curriculum and you're thinking about what kind of level of engagement that is, just sort of think about that as far as that online. Because again, from the perspective of the faculty, we are looking at this cohort as you are career advancers or career changers. There is expectation that there's professionalism already there. There's already background education. Many people have degrees. So it's that sort of point, although they may be introduction or level 1 classes or sometimes level 3 classes, the faculty are assuming that we are an immersion experience, and they're going to approach that class that way. And expectation is that the students understand that also.
Hi, my name is Abigail Rosario. I have several questions. I've been to several different schools. My question for the fashion design program for technology is you actually have technology interlaced into the design and you teach your students that. But my question is that something that they're learning right now? Can you construct something right now that they can go off onto their own entrepreneurial business at the end of this, the class that they're taking? What if they already have the skills, like you already have sketching skills and you have most of the construction down pat and you just need somebody to push you to finish? So do you have those things in place is my question.
It's a level as far as the curriculum aligning with technology, aligning with actually being able to be an entrepreneur and or
right. Because if let's say you're teaching the program that you're teaching inside the classroom for the project that this student is working on, are you able to actually have the person work on their own project so they can learn better? Because it's something that you want to know. You have your own creative juices and you want to share that, but you want to actually learn what you're doing and enjoy it. You get what I'm saying?
I understand. You're wanting to do your particular project within the classroom setting. Is that what you're asking?
Correct.
Well, depending on what class you're taking and where you are in the program, I mean, if you're like towards your thesis area and you're taking a class that aligns with whatever it is that you want to do, of course you're able to do that. You're able to use your...
So you can use your own, let's say you want to brand yourself and you want to use your own things that you already know, and you're using what you're teaching so that you can actually, when you finish, you can launch your own line type of thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
So basically what you're wanting to have when you're done with the school is a presentation representing your brand.
Correct.
I think that that is a possibility.
Okay.
It is a possibility within the classes, yes.
As a student perspective, I'm telling you, there are always going to be an assignments which always going to help you. You will realize it later. Sometimes it's always feel like that why we are doing that. But as a creative person, as a person from the fashion industry, we always try to express ourselves, right? So whenever we are doing something, we have to figure it out that whatever the professors are giving an assignment, how we can incorporate our work and present it. Professor, I did this assignment like for you, but it's actually for you as well. So you have to know how to combine your personal angle with the professor's assignment as well. Nobody going to stop you that you don't do whatever you want to do. But then the assignments are meant for everybody to have a same learning level, and so everybody can learn the same thing. Then every individual can have their own angle to present it You can do it, and every time, whatever the assignments you're going to finish by the end of this course, you're going to use that as a portfolio. Because maybe you didn't want to do it as an assignment before, but you will later realize in the industry people are looking for those assignments, and then you will say, yes, I did that as an assignment, so this is my A+ credit of that. So this is how we can work and incorporate our personal thing and with the school thing as well.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation. So I have two questions, but I'm not sure whether it would be one. It would be, do you know, is there any difference between the tuition of online courses and in-person classes, or they are the same? They're the same. And the second question is about the study abroad that you have it in your catalog, that I wonder, like, there is a two option of France and Italy for international students. First of all, is it something that all the students can be basically participate in this program, or you need to be eligible, or what are the requirements? And so a little bit explanation about that.
So that's a great question. So when it comes to study abroad, the study abroad, in that terms of study abroad, is not an option for the associate's degree program students. The study abroad is typically for ones who are starting in a four-year degree. BFA program is typically a junior year abroad is typically what it is. However, there are elective-based excursion classes, like the Italy class that you mentioned, which is an elective class. And that type of curriculum is a curriculum that there's a combination of on-site and excursion. So it starts about 2 weeks online work, development work, and then it's 2 weeks excursion in Italy. And then it finishes up as an online component. So there are classes that are elective classes that are studio and or lecture-based classes that are online, and or maybe excursion classes abroad, and then there is an actual study abroad option that is not available to the AES population right now. Okay, and we do have affiliates, of course, in Paris, with Parsons Paris, and there may be some courses or elective courses that are abroad in Paris, but are not technically a study abroad option.
Some of the classes that we've done that deal with particularly external clients, I think, are really interesting, and we have a real history of that at Parsons. Have taken our students to, let's say, Milan, like 1 year, last year, in fact. A group of our students left here with a faculty member and worked in Laurel piano. Do you know Laurel piano? It's like the best cashmere in the world. It's amazing. And they actually got to meet all the people who were actually making all of the fabric and designing all of the clothing for Laurel piano. It was a fascinating experience for some of our students. And they came back, and that was part of a class, not an abroad program, a little bit different. I think if you really have your heart set on doing an abroad program, then a four-year degree where that actually is built into the curriculum is better. If you're interested in more of a professional track that takes you on to a career path, then this is the program for that. Unless you guys...
No, I totally agree. And for external partnerships, there have been competitions where the prize was an internship abroad. One was with a handbag company in Italy, where the students were there for a month. They were given housing, board, and and learning. And they worked in the factory designing. And one of the students actually designed a handbag that was put into the stores. So there are opportunities for abroad with external partners.
Hello, my name is Whitney Washington, and I'm interested in the fashion design program. I'm wondering, as I have a bachelor's degree in advertising, I'm minored in business, and so I'm really wondering what's the biggest difference between this program and, say, the MFA program in fashion design and society, as far as the curriculum, as far as like internships offered, just what's the biggest difference here?
It's a totally different kind of degree. That's an MFA, it's a Master's in Fine Arts. So the other thing that I could speak to, because I've spoken and been a visiting lecturer in that program, is that in that program, a lot of the students are focused on developing their own collection, And it's much more intensive. In some cases, it's a bit theoretical because they're actually trying to reinvent the notion of what fashion design is within the context of the changes and flux of society. At that point, most of the students who enter that program already have a really a pretty well-rounded understanding of fashion and construction, the technical aspects of it, so they're already hitting the ground running. The AES program really helps you to build some fundamental skills. So you're also developing your own line, but it's also, the assumption is that you would come into this program because you want to build a foundation to work from. Does that make sense? Okay. Is that the only question you had?
You can do internships while you're in this program, yes, not the first year.
So, yeah, so I would say yes and no. Only with the caveat that, so certain companies or internships may be looking at a student from a particular breadth of a program. And some internships may be calling all students from a particular discipline, and based on that student's work and credentials, will place them in the internship. So, I mean, it's not a complete yes or no. It's sort of it's sort of somewhere in the middle. It depends on what the internship is looking for. They may be looking for a master's level student for if it's maybe concept or theory. However, they may be looking for an AES student, knowing our AES population are career changers. There's a breadth of experience behind them. They have dual disciplines or backgrounds. So it depends on what they're actually looking for.
Hi, my name is Chelu, and I'm interested in the fashion design program. I'm sorry, I have two questions. The first one is related to the internships, and I wonder if that is something students are responsible for securing, or if there are places where you have, I know you've mentioned about industry partnerships, so I wonder how generally that works in getting that internship. Is it something that is going to happen, or the students are really responsible?
Do you want to understand what kind of support you do?
Yes.
Okay, I can say, I can speak to that as well. That's okay. That is a great question. So for internships, they spoke earlier about there is a complete a level of support from the university, absolutely, that where companies reach out looking for individuals, looking for assets from students to apply for, and there's internships fair that's hosted by the university. Students absolutely can look for their own internship, and based on what that internship is, when an internship is offered, and support from the university and or faculty advising can get approved to do that internship. Now, keep in mind that the way the university supports internships is you must be compensated by either credit and or compensation from our perspective. There are students where we may advise, if you're taking 8 or 9 classes, maybe it's not best to do an internship that requires you to be there 3 days a week. So it's a little bit of consultation as far as what that, if it's an internship that students have stuck out on their own, please let us know and please speak with us so we can make sure that whatever the internship is, that it's balancing out with your particular work schedule. So the answer is yes, the school absolutely supports. It has an office. We support companies coming in. There's internship fairs, there's consultation, but students are welcome to seek their own internships that may align with exactly what they want to do. Just please make sure you're liaisoning with us so we can make sure that you're compensated via credit and or compensation, and is a balance of your work and expectations on both sides. Because there's a contract agreement.
If I could just add to that, Luci's right. The one thing that we recommend is that you come talk to us first before you get the internship so that we can actually help you negotiate that. Oftentimes students will go do it and then come and be like, well, actually that doesn't work, or it doesn't actually align with the rules of the school. And part of that is so that we protect you guys so that you're not getting taken advantage of. That's been a problem in the industry if you haven't noticed. So we want to make sure you guys get the right kind of experience. You had a second question as well?
Yes, I did. My second question goes around the financial aid. Is someone who's also interested in hopefully developing my own brand in entrepreneurship. So probably there will be no money for a few years. So I'm very interested to know the financial aid aspects. Like, are there separate competitions you can enter for things like grants or scholarships, or once you submit your application, you're considered for whatever that is available? Thank you.
Okay, yes, it's a little, right.
There's a financial aid representative out in the hall that you can speak with about financial aid opportunity, but all students are considered for merit-based aid when they apply. But we encourage you to speak with financial aid to pursue other options as well.
I will say that when I was a student and I had to pay for a school, it's slightly terrifying. I actually found this place called the Foundation Center, which is actually right up the block. And they have just a bajillion grants, and you can apply. And there's grants for everything. Tall people, Scotch people, all sorts of things. I was like, so there are resources here, and certainly we have support to help access that. But yeah, maybe we have a conversation on that.
I have a question. Actually, I'm interested in fashion design, and for me it would be a change in my career because I'm coming from marketing, from entrepreneurship, so this is the part actually I already know, and I'm very interested in fashion design to be able to create my own brand somehow. The question is, you talked before about background or some skills that you bring with you. Actually, I would bring some skills actually in terms of fashion knowledge, of trends, of stuff like that. But what is your minimum requirement in practical skills? And how would you prepare for that?
So you want to come into fashion design. We've had tons of students who've come in with no skills, none. What you do when you first come in is the first year is all about learning the basics. All about learning the basics, getting you involved in sewing and pattern making and draping so that you know how to do all of these things. And yes, we've had doctors who have graduated making beautiful dresses, you know. So, I mean, it's really an immersion into construction in the beginning, okay? So if you come in with no skills, by the time you get to your second semester, you will have skills.
Would you recommend to prepare before the first semester? Anyhow.
Preparing to learn?
I don't know. Up front.
Preparing before coming here? I mean, you really don't need to prepare. You will learn the first semester.
Good. Thank you.
Hi, I'm looking at the fashion marketing program, and I was curious, what is the difference in experience if you do the accelerated program?
That one, the accelerated program, I feel like you probably wouldn't want to be working at the same time. It's extremely intense. You know, you're gonna be taking, what, 8, 9 classes per semester, and it's a heavy load. So you really have to plan your time wisely and maybe not work the semesters that you're doing that acceleration.
Can you, say I was supposed to start in the fall, can you take any summer classes to help ease the load at all?
We do have summer classes offered. We do, but we'll find out.
Yes, but it wouldn't. So generally, the summer classes across both the FM and FD programs are level 3 classes intended for students who are finishing up. There may be one class, there may be a couple of electives, or maybe one sort of, maybe level 2 class, but really they're for students who've either entered and at least have one full semester either in either program, either entering in the spring or have entered in the fall to finish up. So yes, there are, but one could balance an immersion program by on-site and online, and then a summer class depending on when one enters a program.
But you might not want to count on that summer class being available.
Oh, I just had a quick question. This is a quick technical question regarding the facilities. I took the summer intensive this past summer with Kai and Chu. It was amazing. I loved it. I might do it again this summer, actually. He was great. But so I was wondering how much exposure and overlap we get with the other programs in terms of where we are in the building, and like, I don't know how it is, but in architecture, like as a freshman in college, you also got to engage with the master's degree students. And then also in our facilities, do we have our own set studio, or I noticed we had lockers, so I didn't know if we get to like sort of buckle down and spread out, or we have to like get out into class, or.
Do get their own studios. The bulk of the population kind of mixes. So you're looking at members of faculty who are in the School of Fashion, and this is one of those programs. So, and I'm also in the School of Design Strategies. It's more management, business people. Boring. No, actually, it's really exciting. I love it. I'm just teasing. So we all talk to each other, and there's definitely an engagement across not only the programs within fashion, but I will say there's a kind of we encourage a degree of collaboration across disciplines. So I'll give you an example of some examples of that at the university. And that's one of the things that I love about being at the new school, is because we have a music school, a jazz program. There's a drama program that's really spectacular. And we did a class that worked with an opera company and jazz musicians and classical musicians to make garments just for that. That was an incredible class. So we do these kind of collaborations. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, okay.
Well, I was just going to say, also there are points where there might be a competition that involves different departments, where you do get to work with other students who are, say, graphic design or product or whatever, and it's a group of you working together on one project. So yes, you do work with other people. And there is, let's say, a cross between product and fashion, and I've done independent study almost every semester with product design students who are very interested in doing something that is related to fashion. So yes.
Yeah. Like I took fashion marketing in my course, but through elective I also took like a couple of classes which are actually for the design courses. Like I took fashion industry design as well, fashion studies as well, and like fashion forecasting as well. So when you have this course, you always have like elective as a solution, that if you want to try out something different from the marketing, outside the marketing, you can use those elective points to have that experience as well. And in every class, you will have so many people coming from the different courses. Like they are studying in even a different school, like Lang as well, and they're also coming. And then fashion design students are also coming, and then interior people. So it's all about, sometimes you will end up having a student for entire new school, not just a Parsons all the time. So when you're doing a project or any assignments, usually professor also always try to make like a group in which you will always have like 5 different heads of you making the same project, so you will understand like how design students are thinking that and how the other students are thinking like that. So this is kind of a great opportunity for getting outside of the fashion marketing as well, and also learning other people's perspective and angle. So electives are always good for having to choose something which you want to learn in a different school, like in a different course, and use the elective that way.
Hello, my name is Eva, and I'm interested in fashion design. I just wanted to say that I've seen you on TV, Monica Singh, so I know a little bit of the backstory so I'm really happy to see you here. And also, I just wanted to know if the classes are mostly lecture-based or project-based, or will we be doing assignments in class? Or do we have to do a lot of assignments at home? And also, are we going to have time in school to actually utilize the facilities to do our projects?
Thank you for recognizing and everything. I always say that, like, initially when I did my first year, I planned out my course in a way that first year I'm going to do the maximum work I can do so that the second year will go easy, so that I can also looking an opportunity outside the school as well, like internship and having some more projects which I want to do. So what usually happens that when you have like 9 subjects, forget other thing. Trust me, you're not going to have time for doing anything. And this is my, like, serious, like, we were always saying, like, oh my God, classes started, and we were craving our Facebook status of all the Parsons friends and everything. We are not, we are exhausted, we are zombie now. But that's the fun part of it, like, because that is stress we're gonna get. So I understand that at the point, like, when people don't join this and want to join, they have so many questions. Because when I came here, I always said, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. And after joining and studying, and I was like, I just want to finish my assignment. So that's kind of an angle is that. So because I personally believe that if you are doing something, you better do it nicely and great at your part. Otherwise, there is no point of doing anything. We are not just here for learning and accepting the degree, right? So as much as you can learn, and then when you have a 9 subject, it's not going to happen in a one day, of course. Every day you have 1 class or 2 classes or something. You will automatically decide that you want to use the premises for studying here, and then a lot of group project won't let you get out of this building. Few of my friends have stayed here till 11 p.m. as well. It's how finding your comfort. And I sometimes used to run home because I want to go in my pajamas and do my assignments. So it's totally based on each and every individual, how they want to use it.
Hi, my name's Demita, and I'm interested in the fashion design program. I wanted to ask, can you do the fashion design part-time? And if you can, how would that work, like workload-wise?
So yes, you can actually do both degrees. Yes, you can do the fashion design degree part-time. Generally, so this is also kind of focused on the previous question of the type of coursework one has in a fashion design program. In that first year, it is very heavily studio-based. Primarily, you do have some lecture-based courses, but if you're in general, it's studio-based. So when one is taking a class part-time, you're looking at a 3-hour time block of a class, of a bell schedule of a class, and then possibly 3 to 6 hours of homework time from that class. So you can stagger that however you like. You can take 1 class part-time, 2 class part-time, or even 3 classes part-time based on when they're offered. And generally, we do offer all of our core classes, at least 1 evening section of our core classes. We don't really offer weekend classes, so that's the way in which one can take the classes, but you do want to make sure you have time to balance and do the coursework. The facilities this particular building is open 24 hours, so if you are studying part-time, you do need to take an evening class. You can certainly have evening class and have access to the university after 9 o'clock at night till, well, it's 24 hours, so you can certainly have time and space to do your work if you do study part-time. Usually the way we stagger that part-time learning experience for the fashion design is to space out those fundamental core construction courses and a visual communication course like fashion drawing and or construction 1 sewing, pattern making, or draping. So at least you have some of those skills to be built up to start to do the other types of work in the program.
So I wanted to build on that question because in regards to fashion marketing and frankly the culture of a lot of our courses that we teach here at Parsons, yes, there's lecture and seminar and studio, but there's also a real emphasis on developing project-based learning or problem-based learning as a means of kind of solving a kind of a wicked problem potentially within design. So that's where external partnerships comes in. And I think it's important to understand maybe the culture of Parsons. If you go back to our founding faculty, Frank Parsons, that's where the name comes from, and his colleagues, there was a real interest in developing a design education that actually met the needs of what was happening in the real world. And we hope that we've continued to develop and build upon that tradition in the 21st century. So an example would be One of the partners that we have, an external partnership, is with Nike. And I'm teaching a class right now where they've come to us and asked us to rethink materials in the garment industry at large and look for ways to develop materials that have a lower carbon footprint. This is kind of a radical idea, and it means that we get to work with MIT, and we get to work with scientists, and we get to work with business people. And just to think about the kinds of people in that class, I have students who were architects. I have I have a person who is an agricultural scientist who's an expert in rice in China. It's just bizarre, and they're amazing. They're kind of bringing all their own ideas and experiences to the table to try to solve a really giant problem in the fashion industry. So anyways, I'm kind of excited about it, so that's why I wanted to let you know. Anyways.
Hi. Okay. Hi, my name is Nadia. Thank you for your open house. It's very interesting. I have a question. I'm interested. Can I apply if I have degree in another country? I'm not in US, and in different area. And do I need to pass English language exam like TOEFL? And that is my questions.
Yes, and yes.
Yes is the answer, if no one got that.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Cesar. I'm coming back as an adult learner. I'm currently working. I have no fashion experience, but I do live and breathe fashion, though. I would need to be working while going to school full-time, but what jobs would you recommend that can give me some kind of experience while I'm going to school? I'm interested in fashion marketing. Yeah. Retails.
Retail is always great because that's the end up of what, we're doing all of this so that we retail, so that's always a great option. I'd say get into a company that is a fashion-based company. And
I don't mind entry level, I don't mind.
level on any level, entry level merchandising, entry level production, entry level product development. I don't know why I'm going like this, I guess, because that's the start.
Starting from the bottom to the top.
Any of the different areas within an apparel company would be great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Laurel. I'm interested in fashion design. I have two questions. First of all, it's been mentioned briefly, like multiple times, but I was just wondering about the crossover between the fashion design department and fashion marketing department. I personally do not have any business or marketing background, so I would definitely feel like I would need courses like that. Yeah, that's my first question.
I might strongly recommend taking the production methods class, because I teach that one. And because I feel like it gives a really great overview of the apparel industry and the apparel manufacturing, a brand set up, how it's run, the different areas. And I throw a project into the class where you actually have to get a product made and source it and deal with factories and suppliers and your merchandiser and your buyer and show you how that works. So I feel like that's a great intro to the business side of fashion for the creatives. And I'm finding a lot of designers in the classes and they're liking it, so I'd recommend that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. I'm just saying that when you don't have any experience into fashion or marketing or anything, and it's going to be a total, completely blank book for you.
Yeah.
So whenever you're having a course, like fashion studies is going to be the one thing which is going to introduce you with the fashion first, and then fashion illustration going to tell you how to design that. And then the third question comes in my mind, how these 2D designs I'm going to create, then the production method comes. Because whatever you design on papers, and also the production method class is like really important, like Michelle says, is really important and key to get into the industry. Even any position you want to go in as a buyer, merchandiser, or a retailer, or anyone. Because one should know that how these get made and how much efforts goes into that. That's how we decide on pricings and other things. But that's how, like, for the first person that who never been in touch with fashion, they should study about what amazing, big, brilliant designers have created. That's how you dream about, okay, I want to design that. And then you're going to learn that, let me do my own designing. And then you're going to learn, I need to know how I can construct that. And then a stitching course will going to give you the physical, giving you the exercise how to make it in a physical form as well. So they all are combined. They all are, like, connected to each other, So that's kind of it's very important.
Thank you. I just have one more question. This is sort of like a very technical question. I was just wondering how much of the materials we use are provided and how much we are supposed to subsidize on our own, and if you could give maybe an average cost of doing that.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's actually on my task list.
Yeah.
That calculation. So to be honest with you, like any studio class, the bulk of the materials are the responsibility of the student. The way we design those classes, though, we try to get an estimate to keep the prices, reasonable. However, if you're going to go work in like really nice silk and fur, figure it out. But everything begins at some base level materials.
Everything begins with pattern making paper and muslin, so that's where we start. And yes, you do have to supply your own materials there. We do give you a list. At this point, we're putting together a kit that you will be able to buy from one of the retailers. The kit is made especially for the Parsons incoming students, fashion design. But if you're, like Andrew said, if you're going to go for silk and fur, think about what it's going to cost, okay? We do get donations, but you can't count on those, okay? Yes.
We have discounts with many retailers, so Dick Blick, Utrecht, and all the art stores, so basic materials, they do sell muslin, they do sell pattern paper.
Yeah, I mean, there are stores that we can give you, everyone will give you a list of suppliers where you get the best value for your dollar. So, we're not looking for you to spend top level to start out.
And really, you can use New School card to get 10 to 15% discount anywhere near to Union Square. It's always good.
Hi, my name is Brooke Hargrove, and I am interested in the fashion marketing program. I apologize if you've already addressed this question, but I was wondering if you have any data or statistics in regards to employment after the graduation from the program.
But I don't want to quote. I've heard it's in the realm of 60, 70%. Usually at really good companies we get placed.
If you want, come talk to us and we'll get that data for you, because I know that the school tracks it.
Okay, great.
And Career Services is possibly still on campus, can help.
Department as well has a bunch of that data, the alumni department.
And likewise, anybody who's like shy, come talk to us.
Hello, I'm Alex. I was just wondering, besides studio classes, do you also offer like any like fashion and history courses and theory courses? Because I'm just also very curious about the history of fashion besides studio and everything.
And
in this program, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. There's a, within both it's another sort of a crossover area in both the fashion design and fashion marketing. There is a core of history of fashion course or history of design course, history of couture. So there's a fashion, I'll say there is a history of design, if I look at the higher bracket, of course, that's required. And in that envelope, you could take it of fashion, of couture, of design connection, or design history within the core course. And outside of that, one of our other schools at Parsons, art district history, I was going to give you the acronym ADHT, but art design history and theory has a wide breadth of absolutely amazing courses across fashion studies, across design disciplines, theoretical disciplines that one can take within Parsons. And then, of course, our other schools, Lang and others, have courses of different types of I'll say histories of that one can take as well.
So, and building on that, one of the things, I love going up to the ADHT classrooms because they're actually up at the Cooper Hewitt Museum. So right next to it, you can go up to the Cooper Hewitt, which is our National Design Museum. If you've never visited, go check it out. And the scholars who work and teach with us in that program have access to these research, and their research is based in some cases on fashion history or particular niches that they publish on. So I can give you some of the names of some of the people in that program.
Cool.
We also have, if you're really interested in that, we have tons of resources available to you at school. And that's one of the things that I think in considering any school, whichever program you decide to go to, think about the kind of resources that you need to actually develop your own platform as a designer or a design marketer or a business person or entrepreneur. And does that school have the support mechanisms? I'm biased because I work here, and I think that we do have all those things in spades. And we also have, and I think importantly, relationships with other resources in the city. So our own library is part of a large network of libraries that have incredible resources, everything from the New York Historical Society's stacks to Cooper Union's library and even NYU's library and on and on and on. So there's lots of support, particularly for scholarly research as well.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Romy. My question is for the fashion marketing people. I wanted to know what are the top tips that you guys have so that we can stand out with our admission essay and with the process of that.
I'd say to show that you're involved and that you maybe have your own projects that you've started, that you're a bit, again, a self-starter and you're motivated to have projects, maybe a blog or maybe something that you've done or created that you can show that would set you apart from the others. And definitely great letters of recommendations from people that are maybe respected in industry would help.
Hi guys, sorry, I just wanted to interrupt. We're the admissions staff in the back, and we'll be coming on the tour with you guys to ask, so if you guys do have more questions specific to admissions, because our faculty and staff are wonderful, but we're mostly the ones who read the applications. So we would be happy to answer those questions for you. But for an essay, we really want to know why you're coming to Parsons. Our older adult population, like you guys in the associates programs, you're choosing us for a reason, and you're coming here for a reason. And we really want to understand that change and what you're doing and coming here. So within an essay, showing us you is really what we want to hear, not, I've been working, and doing this. We want to know why you're taking this turn. You came to our open house. You're coming here. You're talking to our faculty. We want to know that in an essay. So feel free to ask us more questions. We'll be on the tour with the faculty. This is Sarah Canicchio. I'm Katie Gross, and this is Lark Morgenstern. We will all be there, so feel free to turn to us if you have more nitty-gritty questions about admissions.
Hi, I have one more question. So since there's going to be a lot of projects throughout the time spent in the program, I was wondering who owns the pieces that the students create. Are those owned by the student, or does Parsons own it, or how does it work?
So really good question. You own it, because that's the policy of the school. Now, I will say there's one exception. There was a weird class that I taught a couple years ago that worked with all the luxury firms, and it was sponsored by them. And they actually got to basically say, if we want to develop that, you can't talk about it for a little while. So they shared ownership in that case. But that was very unusual. In general, intellectual property at the school, you develop it, you own it, it's yours, okay? And if you want, we can get into I can show you the contracts. They're really crazy.
And there's a link on the new school website that talks specifically to trademarking, so you can always check that out.
Hi, okay, I had one more question, and how much computer-based learning is there? Is there an elective class for that? But I noticed that a lot of companies look for you to be able to make like a tech pack or something and just be able to show your sketches just animated, I guess, so, or not animated, but on the computer.
Okay, so within the fashion design program, we have three core digital classes, or that require digital skills. Well, one of them is fashion digital class, by which you are visualizing your entire collection from textiles to bodies, to representing what that collection is, from color direction, silhouette direction, fabric direction. And so it is sort of a combined where the outcome is digital, but you are combining concepts of hands-on digital learning and digital representation and communicating that. There is another class, is fashion technology with respects to fashion speccing. And in that class, you really are focused on communicating the actual garments that are to be made. So you will have, outside of the sketching elements of those particular garments, you will learn the digital components to communicate them, to do the spec packing, to do trims, look at trim sheets, do all of that, all those sort of concepts in that particular course. And then there's other courses, like our fashion portfolio course, that also require digital skills from those two courses, at least from those two courses, to finish up as a capstone course. So our digital courses are leveled when one comes in. We are expecting that we're expecting in certain of the class that you have skills ready for that curriculum, and there are certain digital courses where we know that our goal is to teach those courses in those classes. And on just one other parallel before Andrew takes over, you'll know if you look at the curriculum map, there are prerequisites. So there certainly are classes where the expectation is either a cohort or a prerequisite of digital in a program.
Other than what you've already said, but I will add a little bit. There are also support mechanisms at the university itself. So let's say in a marketing class that's a more studio-based class, if part of the deliverable is about learning how to communicate and present professionally, there's going to be some digital learning in that classroom. Outside of the classroom, and I personally, when I'm teaching, I try to build a lot of those skills into the course, but outside of the classroom, if you want to go further or you need additional help, we have mechanisms to do that. Everything from actual computer-based learning. Every student and faculty member on campus has access to a suite of tutorials that are pretty robust, and some of them are actually made by some of our faculty. And then we also have, there's like tutoring as well, just on digital technologies that the provost offers. So I can show you some of the other tools that we have available. And we have an amazing computer facility that's kind of dispersed around the university, but a big part of it's actually underneath your feet. It's actually downstairs.
Thank you.